These purple flowers represent all of the adults in our school.
These yellow flowers represent all the students like me.
When we put them together,
We are one big family.
thank you for coming to our Bywood family.
Thanks for coming.
We hope you have a great day.
So can I give a brief context? We have, they might not be thrilled about it, but we have a lot of home and school meetings. So since the pandemic, we've taken to virtual. So we have a district home and school that's all encompassing of all the leadership of the home and schools.
Yeah.
And then we go and we do individual home and school meetings from the superintendent's office. So they've probably seen a lot of me too much lately. But they've been kind enough to come here and talk and ask, have a conversation with you today.
I'm Cynthia Isles. I'm actually representing two home and schools today. So I represent an elementary school, Highland Park, and a middle school, Beverly Hills.
I'm Martha Ford, and I represent the home school at the elementary, Ronald Elementary.
I'm Kia Fields, and I represent Bywood Elementary.
Okay, I'm Steve Sardi. I too represent president of the high school, Every High School, which we have a home and school and we have an after prom committee as well. And then I help out here at Garrettford, the elementary school, on the home and school as well.
That's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately. I learned about the book that you were reading, at least at that school.
Sure.
Is everybody reading that book?
No, we've had those book studies at different schools. They've
Yeah.
adopted at different periods of time. Each school has adopted different either equity initiatives. I think one of the key conversations we've had, at least lately at home and schools, obviously facilities, capacity concerns, and then mental health concerns, parental support. and guidance with our parents at recent home and schools. I'm in the midst of the second tour. We do one in the fall, and then we do one in the spring, and we're getting to all the home and schools right now. But most recently, the conversations have been about facilities needs and updates, as well as mental health supports. Parents who are struggling with their own kids and want to become an advocate and a resource. And then that also has turned into a third topic, which is how can we get more parent involved in it? And we've got parents who want to be out there knocking on doors and getting parents to be engaged, and how can we provide the training and the resources and supports to do that. I think mental health is a real significant topic of conversation throughout our school district right now, from parents asking for their own training from the school district, but as well as support for their kids.
As actually what you brought up is what I was going to ask about. Is obviously you're very involved representing 2 schools and representing the schools that you work with, and being a super involved parent. What are the ways that you found successful to reach out to parents that aren't as involved as you? Like you've made this your choice to be involved, and you must have tactics and strategies that bring other people in that, sometimes people don't know the kind of help that they need. They don't even know what to ask for, but they can look to parents like you. So what have you found helpful?
My son talks in Google Meet a lot. So sometimes I kind of stick my head in.
There you
With the
go.
Google Meet. I'm not always successful, but that's my story.
And when he's
say-
talking to his friends, you say, "Hey, where's the
my
adult?"
Mom, that's then I let them know like things that are going on and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm the schoolyard at the elementary school, especially. I'm just like, hey, you guys know what's going on at home and school, and I just present myself as extra friendly, typically, so that they feel endeared to come and participate. I do think that sometimes home and school is seen as its own little clique of parents, and we need to let parents know, no, this is an open door and we welcome you. At the middle school, I think what's happening, we're really starting from scratch. So we're a new home and school.
Okay.
And what it has become more so is a space for parents to come and discuss. So we're trying to create a safe space. So this week we have our first all parent only, no administration and no school representation, just where parents can talk.
That's great.
Yeah, that makes me think. We're been talking to the social worker at our elementary school and how, and it's just trying to engage the parents and let them know that how we can be a resource for parents to talk, and that we are the social worker and school psychologist is trying to invite, so yes, they're there as as to help lead discussion, but really like a parent group, like let's talk, we're all going through similar things, and help people feel like we don't just need you, but like perhaps we can all support each other, and so that's one way kind of similar that we're inviting families is through meetings and having the social worker there, and just like a coaching parent group, talking together.
And brings more people in that way. Tells one to tell another to tell another. And then
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I do for like the virtual meetings.
Yeah.
But I'm like, because we still do at the high school, we still do it virtual because we find out that we get better attendance.
That was
if
gonna
it's
be my
virtual
next
than
question,
it was
yes.
in person. So
Yes.
take advantage of it. And I always beg everybody. I'm like, bring 1 or 2 people with you next time, please. Just share the word. Just one person next time, we can just grow exponentially. And
I was going to
it's
ask
slowly
if the
working.
virtual nature of some of the things that people got used to being able to meet online, and maybe some that weren't crossing over the bridge to come into the school setting in person, did they easier to turn on the camera and they sort of engage them that way and they're staying engaged?
Some.
Some.
I think we'll always find out, like even with the in-person ones, I know from being here, that it usually is the same people that would show up over and over again. But when the option went out for virtual, that the numbers did grow for a little bit, but then numbers went down again.
Yeah.
We have
And-
unique challenges here too, because we are such a unique and diverse community. So we have lots of languages that are being spoken, and so like more recently connecting with parents who speak other languages, so that hey, we need you too. You're a part, and we want members of your community to know that they also are important to our home and school. And so that's one of the bridges. I mean, I am a strong advocate for us to just literally walk the neighborhood and knock on their doors and make that connection. I honestly think that that is the way for us to really build those bridges. I think we need to call every church and every mosque and go to every soccer game if we have to show up to say, hey, we're here and we need you. And you
What a
know,
great ambassador.
hopefully we can pull them in because we need them.
Yeah.
We need them.
Yeah,
Children need them, right?
Yes.
Part of the concerns with some of the meetings that the parents talk about is it feels at times like a data dump. So they get on a call with administration, it's like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, and we've got to be aware that parents are asking for just to make a connection and talk and share. So making that space, almost like space that teachers need to talk about what's
Right.
going on in school, or
Right, let's
principals need to talk
connect,
about.
yes.
Parents are expressing, you know, hey, this is a lot of information. Which ones are important, what is not important, and then right now, over the last year and a half to 2 years, it's even more of a concern with their children, how to get access or barriers. And in some conversations, the fear of being such a large school district, will I be received? How will I be received? I'm new. We're very transient too. We're almost 40% transient as a school community, so that is difficult. So some families start in first grade, and by the time they get to 6th or 7th grade, it's a whole different 60% new people. So it's a very complicated system and network that we're trying to work through to re-engage families. Not just from a typical home and school fundraising initiative, more so about safe walking to and from school, support, you know, the after prom, a safe place for kids to go to volunteer. So trying to re-engage over the last couple of years has definitely been a priority, communicating. And you have to be willing to hear the real criticism about that communication too.
It's always there. But that's what authentic dialogue's about. And, you know, part of this huge investment that you're seeing from the federal level around the ARP dollars is around the community engagement that goes with it. And so parents like you are totally involved in getting other parents involved so that we can hear the voices and support and criticism, whatever it is, it's all the voices matter. And that's the intentionality that I see in your leadership here, that you're intentionally and carefully supporting, you know, hearing what the community wants, what the community needs, listening to the teachers, everybody that's involved. And you said that you were listening to stories, and I'm going to listen to her story later.
Yes.
But I am interested in your stories, like your story of how you became involved like this, because that's how we grow more parent involvement. If you want to share.
Honestly, I've been in the neighborhood we chose where we lived because we loved being near like a school. And so I've seen kids walking to school. Ever since I lived there, my daughter was 1 and now she's in 4th grade, and I've got 3 others behind her. And so it was meeting neighbors and them inviting me to the community events that were at the school. And that's how I became involved in the school before I even had a child there. So it was, you know, the school being a part of the neighborhood community that really introduced me. And then those neighbors I realized, oh, they're involved in this organization, and then it just went from there. And so now I feel like that example is what I want to continue to be able to reach out to, you know, those that maybe are new or they've been there a long time, but there's a place for everyone. So
Neighbors helping neighbors and watching the little kids walk by every
Yeah,
day while you had the little 1-year-old,
yeah,
and
and now it's
you.
My son actually was homeschooled prior to starting in the district, and so I think it was really important for me to feel secure about the education that he was getting. And I think that Upper Darby gets a bad rap, to be perfectly honest. And so I needed to see for myself. And so my ideology really is wherever my kids are, I'm going to make it great. So, you know, that was kind of like, I need to be there. I need to be connected. I need to know what's going on. I need to know the teachers. And so it just started from the day I showed up, and then they were like, you know, when parents show up, you're like unicorns. They're like, we love you. Come on, bring more. And I love the support. The community is great. And I think that we really are fortunate that we have wonderful staff and a fighter of a superintendent. And so it draws me in even more to be a part of people who I think are fighting for our kids. So
I just want to add to that, the parents that are here too hold us accountable. So this isn't like a situation where every conversation that we have, we're hugging each other at the end of the conversations.
it's not kumbaya.
No. You have to open yourself. The home and schools and the parents that are involved in telling their stories, as both these parents are very strong community leaders, they want accountability. They want safe schools, good schools. They want good education for their kids, and they expect that from the top down. So the home and school meetings often go on for over an hour. with the superintendent and the team.
It's a real
And-
dialogue.
Well, the problem then becomes they want to talk to each other, so they say to me, get off the call. So that's what we're working on now. Yeah, in the nicest- yeah, in the most respectful way possible. Yeah. Get off.
You're done. You're done.
Just out of curiosity, how many folks do you have that are on your homeschool committee?
We have representative district home and school. We try to have every single home and school represented on the district home and school. And then I go and attend twice a year, every home and school meeting in the fall and in the spring. And then we have either bi-monthly, if not monthly, try to have district home and school meetings. And so each fall I attend all the home and schools, and then each spring I attend all the home and schools. And then on top of that, we have district home and school meetings. We also have board representation on our district home and school committee. Mr. Warsavage, that's behind me, board member Damian Warsavage, that's back there.
Well, I started when my oldest started going to school here, and I would go to events that the school was having, like there was a fair that would go on, and I attended. I'm like, this is really cool, and then I'm like, okay, I got to get involved. I got to see what's going on, see how I can help out, and that's just it. I started showing up to meetings here in the library, and I got. They were voting, and they said, do you want to be involved? And I'm like,
You got voluntold.
Unfortunately, I started as a secretary, and I was
Now look
bad
at
at
you.
keeping notes and keeping everything. So what did I do? I worked my way up. So I didn't have to, so I could have somebody else take notes. But that's why I just wanted to be part of the school, and again, to know the teachers, know the principal, and just know what's going on in the school district. And again, it started out here, and I started to go a little bit when I just went to middle school, and now I'm in the high school now, so it just kind of like follows me around. And again, because just like Cynthia said, I want to be like part of it. I want it to be better, and I think I have some things that I can do that'll help out. And again, ears are open. I always want to hear from everybody, but I have things too that I think could help out and would be beneficial for the district. So that's why I did it, to help out.
Of all the challenges, you've been probably working on challenges before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, things just, the social, emotional, and mental well-being of our students just maybe intensified. But what do you see as maybe some progress that you've made and some things that you're most worried about?
I think there's frustrations in the classroom, right? There's kids having a hard time maybe for, trying to get back into the routine, or things being different, being at school every day, all day long, and it's just the transition. And I think that I'm hoping for that the teachers feel that they have the support they need, because they've got to teach a classroom, but also there's kids that are struggling with different, needs, and so hoping that they have the support that they need so that they can still teach and be there for their students, but also perhaps whether it's another counselor or other coaches there that we've talked about, just to be able to support the students and the teachers. And so I'm hoping that can help those students still thrive in school, in-person learning.
Upper Darby is a very pro-teacher community. And sometimes you'll go to communities where there's a question about teachers and teachers' unions. You might hear different back and forth. Our community is pro-teacher. So what the home and schools especially have said is, can't add more to a teacher's plate. And that's been the fear over the last couple of years, is just adding more to a teacher instead of what other supports can we get into the schools for those teachers to be able to do their work.
And what I'm seeing is you are putting some incredible supports. Just what I've seen today, the supports that you've put in place are phenomenal. And teachers have come to me to tell, as I'm walking through the classrooms, telling me the support that they've received. So your hope is actually happening, because they were showing me how some of the lessons I saw today were a direct result of the investment that was made, and they do feel supported. I don't think it's done. There's always more to do. But what I particularly like about your approach here is, first of all, the fact that parents are meaningfully, authentically ongoing engagement, and that you're looking towards the future. It's not just now in this investment, but using this investment now for what the future is going to be, and building I think I read about your sustainability plan for this, that it's not a one time we're done and the pandemic's over, but it's the deep roots in this community. And I think it's kind of starts with this group here. The roots are beyond anybody teaching in the schools right now. It's the parents. The schools belong to you. It's really beautiful to see.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, the sustainability, I think, is where, the parents want to hold us accountable to the supports for the teachers. So I think we are working on, okay, how can we get youth mental health first aid training to parents to then go out there to work with other kids in the community. That's the hard part, is the sustainability long term. Pennsylvania has a history of one-time injection and infusion and then the money goes away. People matter, and so in earlier conversations that we've had, we need really good people. When we were at our best in this community, we had even those ongoing sustainable resources there a lot more. We were at Bywood earlier. When I was there, we had 9 reading teachers, reading specialists. They're gone.
Yeah.
And so those supports are what we need to consider. So we're using these dollars to build.
To show what's possible.
To show what's
Yeah.
possible, but to also try to create a more sustainable plan that
Yep.
in 2 years, if it goes away, it's not like it's gone and we can't survive it. That's really what we're trying to think about.
I think to Dr. McGarry's point, one of my deepest concerns are fair funding issues. And so our district is underfunded. And any issue that happens in the world, our collective trauma
The impact
becomes
is felt.
exacerbated in a district where we have every extreme, really, right? And so we have students who speak other languages. We have students who are in poverty. We have students who are homeless. We have all these things to cope with, and we do not have enough money to meet it. And then we get this injection of money, and we want to do grand things. But again, that sustainability is not possible if we are not funded fairly. It's just impossible.
I hear you. I
So,
hear you.
I think that has been a topic of discussion for us in a way that, it just keeps coming back to. How are we really going to deal with things if we don't have the money to deal with it?
I know my team over there is giving me a look because it's time to wrap up. And I don't like to be the one to wrap up because I could talk to you all day. But what I see here is there's such heart in this community, all the way from the kids that I met at the schools to the principal leadership to your board members, everybody that showed up, and now to be able to be with you, with parents. What I know is that great cities are built by generations of people who care. And you're all part of that it's a generational investment, and it's this moment now, but it's everything that you've put into being able to be strong during this time is where your future is going to be built from. So it's really an honor to be able to see what you all have done and what you are doing, and we know it's not easy, but I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this and see that the investment that we're making at the federal level at least is going to be leveraged for long-term future success for the students of this community.
Thank you.
Really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.